Welcome to the Double E Show. Bad strategy, horribly simulated. What's going on, everybody? Jibba73 back with the Double E Show. It's Art of Murder, Deadly Secrets. So when we left off in the last episode, we had arrived to the scene of the murder of an antique collector or an antique dealer. One of the clues led us to an antique collector's home. So as you can see, we are at that home and we are going to enter. Nicole Bonnet, FBI. Can I talk with Mr. Edgar Freeman? You don't know? My husband had a heart attack. The funeral was yesterday. I'm so sorry. I wasn't aware. I'm conducting a murder investigation. An antique shop owner, Clifford Raven, was killed. My God, he's dead too? He was killed last night. Did you know him? Not very well, but my husband kept in touch with him. They were in constant contact a few days before Edgar's death. Do you know what was the nature of their business? They were both in the same line of work, so to speak. Edgar was an antique collector, and Raven sold antiques. I have to ask you, what were the circumstances of your husband's death? We were planning to go to a concert, but Edgar decided to stay behind. When I got home, my husband was lying on the floor. The doctor couldn't help him. He was already dead. Did your husband have heart problems? Yes, and he hadn't been feeling very well recently. Can I see the place where you found him? His study? Of course. By the way, if you haven't noticed, this hallway right here was in the second or third Art of Murder, where our contact was hidden in the basement. We had to find a way into the basement. Okay, so here's the study. Have you noticed anything unusual in the study? Any recent changes? Is anything missing? Not really. I haven't touched anything since Edgar died, but it shouldn't be difficult to find out if anything is gone. How? Edgar had recently inventoried all the items in the house. You can compare the study with the photographs he took. In certain puzzles, you'll have to search for differences. The number of differences left to find is shown on the bottom of the screen. Okay, in some puzzles you'd be racing against time. The time is measured on the hourglass. Lower left corner. Manage to solve the puzzle in time, you'll have to start over. And I believe we are underway. So let's start with the top. Okay, so quite a few items are missing. Maybe it's the things my husband prepared for shipment. So they're not here? They're here on the writing table. You can see for yourself. The writing table. We'll take that. No, we won't. Okay. Writing table right there. Okay, so let's look for these things here. We need to find a coffee. I'm not saying any of this. get the shoes, handcuffs, the hat, highlighter, matches, chocolate bow. Oh, that kind of bow. Okay. I know you guys are screaming at me. They're right there, Jibba. They're right there. Those look like matches. Those look like matches. There we go. Okay. I didn't find anything interesting here. I have to ask the widow about the chest that Raven purchased from her husband. Did your husband sell Mr. Raven anything recently? Yes, now that you mention it, he did sell him a small chest. He had been keeping some kind of notes inside for years. What notes? I don't know what the notes contained. My husband once thought the notes were very valuable, but then he lost interest. Lost interest? The notes supposedly led to some kind of treasure, but my husband wasn't sure whether to take them seriously. He was a little embarrassed about it. Never gave me a straight answer when I asked him about them. Excuse me. So he never said anything concerning the matter? Supposedly, some man had hidden a considerable sum of money in an underground tunnel somewhere in New York. Doesn't that sound childish? My husband got bored with the matter and sold the notes. Do you know how much he got for them? He didn't tell me any details. I'd have to ask our lawyer to look through the sales documents. Maybe he offered to sell the documents to someone else besides Clifford. If he had, he would have written it down on his planner. The planner should be on his desk. You can take a look if you want. Oh, great. Okay, so that's the home, that's the desk. Another puzzle. Day planner.
A few minutes later.
Yep, certainly is there. Forward engagements. 25th September. Kosnov? I can't read that. 1633. A page from a day planner containing interesting information. Burke asked for another meeting, but I'm going to sell the notes to Clifford Raven. I trust him more. Burke demands another meeting. He wants to convince me to back out of the deal with Raven. He doesn't understand that it's too late. Oh well, he's very persistent, so I guess I'll meet with him. Okay. I found an entry concerning an appointment with a man named Burke. It's from the day Edgar died. He never mentioned it to me. Could this meeting have upset your husband? He said he wasn't feeling too well. He didn't want to go to the concert with me. If I had only known how the night would end. I'll look around. Maybe I'll find some evidence that your husband had a visitor the night he died. Oh, yay. Okay. Okay, there are some characteristic marks on this chair. Someone might have handcuffed Freeman to it. A police officer is waiting for you in the hall. In that case, I have to go, but I have one more question. Please ask. Was an autopsy conducted after your husband died? I didn't agree to an autopsy. Edgar simply died from a heart attack. And did you notice any marks on his body, bruises or cuts? He had a bruise on his face, but he probably hit his face when he fell to the floor. All right, I think I have all the information I need. Thank you. I hope you find Clifford's murderer. So do I. These mysterious notes keep coming up during the investigation. They probably lead to some place underground in New York where a lot of valuable items had been hidden. A man named Burke tried buying the notes from the antique collector, but when it turned out that the collector had already sold them, Burke tried using force to get the man to back out of the transaction. When Freeman had a heart attack, Burke left him to die. He then broke into the antique shop owner's apartment, killed him, and took the chest containing the notes. Well, that's all a possibility. Okay. So, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We now have all things pointing to the New York subway, which was another set used in another one of the earlier Art of Murder games. So, if you like what you watched, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Tell your family, tell your friends. Any suggestions, tips, tricks, anything like that, put them in the comments below, because I will read them. And with that, I will catch you next Monday for another episode of Art of Murder. Deadly Secrets. Peace.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out the playlist above, or watch what YouTube tells you to on the right. Oh yeah, and subscribe.